The main opposition party in the Maldives is set to begin impeachment proceedings against its pro-China President Mohammed Muizzu. The main opposition party, the Maldivian Democratic Party, holds a majority in parliament, and the collection of signatures have already started to begin the impeachment filing. The opposition parties have hit out at President Muizzu for his pro-China position after a Chinese spy ship was granted permission by the government to dock in Malé.
A day after a brawl broke out between lawmakers in the Maldivian parliament over parliamentary approval of 4 ministers, a possible impeachment motion against Maldives President Mohammed Muizzu. The main opposition party, the Maldivian Democratic Party or the NDTV, is said to have collected enough signatures needed to initiate a no-confidence motion against the Muizzu government. Political chaos after President Muizzu tried to bring the country closer to China,
interview the President of the Maldives,
even as it distances itself from its longest-standing ally, India, having ordered Indian troops out a few weeks ago.
Definitely tourism in the Maldives is the key sector for the income of the country, and Chinese tourists have been the number one for the past many years before the COVID pandemic, and last year the numbers have started to go up. The number of arrivals are going up very fast now, and definitely we want to make Maldives as the preferred destination for the Chinese tourists.
The big question now, will Muizzu be able to avert impeachment and remain president of the Maldives? With Ishan Arora, Bureau Report, NDTV.
Well, joining us now, Anas Abdul Sattar, a former minister in the Maldives and a key opposition leader. Thank you so very much for being with us. Ambassador Rajiv Bhatia, who handled the Maldives in the External Affairs Ministry here in New Delhi with us. And Dr. R.K. Radhakrishnan, a journalist who's been tracking the Maldives for years. Anas Abdul Sattar, is it your belief now that given the strength of Parliament, which is 80 as I understand it, that 56 members in the opposition are supporting the resolution to impeach the president?
Yeah, we have the absolute number to go ahead with an impeachment proceedings against President Dr. Muizzu. And we have been talking about it since the beginning of President Muizzu's government, because, as you know, some of his policies and stances on the interest of Maldivians have been disregarded, and what we are worried about is the possible crackdown of fundamental rights in the Maldives, as well as the disruption in the Indian Ocean security, which is also a bit worrying issue for the opposition party. So,
and what is the process now, sir? Mr. Sattar, how soon will this, has it been moved so far, the impeachment process? When will it be moved, and then what happens?
So far, we have collected the necessary numbers of signatures from our MPs to initiate the proceedings, impeachment proceedings. So as soon as the impeachment papers have been filed at the Parliament, the Parliament would give notice to the President, and therefore he would have 14 days to respond to the impeachment process. After that, there would be a sitting of the Parliament where he would be providing his response to the claims against him. So we are talking about maybe 20 days of proceedings. So as soon as the Parliament, today, actually, the NDTV group has decided that they would proceed with the impeachment process. So as soon as they file it in the Parliament, the process will start. It means the clock will be ticking from that moment onwards.
Yes.
14 days will be started.
And the MDP and the Democrats, the two major parties in the opposition, you are entirely united about this, right? There's no question of disagreements on this impeachment motion going forward.
As you know, the impeachment process is as a result of what happened in the parliament past few days.
Yes.
The confirmation of the cabinet is a prerogative and a constitutional right, discretion of the parliament itself. Nobody can say anything about it. Not even the president, not even the vice president, not even a cabinet member can dictate what the members of the Maldives can decide on it. Mm-hmm. We have seen government providing, there was a lapse in security as well for the parliamentarians when they tried to get into the vicinity of the parliament. Some of our MPs have been receiving death threats. They have been targeted to abusive comments.
Right.
This disrespectful behavior by the government and the president and the cabinet members has resulted to move ahead with the impeachment of the president.
We're also joined by Ahmed Adib, the former vice president of the Maldives. Mr. Adib, thank you very much, sir, for being with us. Is it your sense that it's just a matter of time before President Muizzu is forced out of his office because of impeachment?
Thank you very much for having me here. Yes, I think MDP has the majority. I think because of the last night events, it has come to the no confidence motion against President Muizzu, and MDP is going towards it. MDP has that majority. And then there has been another try before as well. But at that time, 13 of MDP MPs moved to the government side. So we have to wait and see what will happen this time. Mm-hmm. But I think the MDP has the current, they have secured the numbers to file in the motion to the parliament.
And you are confident, Mr. Adib, that the 2/3 majority that you will require to impeach the president will take place, that the bloc against the president is secure?
I think the MDP has secured the number of members for the signatures for the motion to be filed. But we have to yet to see what will happen after this, because there will be 14 days of notice given to the president.
Yeah. In fact, that's what I wanted to ask Ambassador Rajiv Bhatia about, that it's not a game, set and match as far as the opposition is concerned. It's a long 14 days. There is political jostling which is bound to be taking place. There is a concern about the influence of China even now. How do you see the process going forward, sir?
Thank you, Vishnu. I think what I see unfolding in Maldives is a complex dance of democracy. Clearly, in many ways, it seems to me that the country is heading for a political and possibly constitutional crisis. On the one hand, you have a president who has been directly elected by the people. On the other hand, within a few weeks after the elections, the parliament is standing before us completely fractured, so much so that there is no mutual trust or cooperation left any further. And therefore, there is a very serious bid to impeach the newly elected president. The causes of dissension are known. Clearly, it's a matter of policy, but above all, it is the matter of foreign policy. Maldives has the possibility to follow a pro-China strategy, a pro-India strategy, or a pro-Maldives strategy through a balanced and calibrated policy or balancing between India and China. Mm-hmm. I think in the next few days, the line would become clear. All that we can do from India, we can show full respect to the democratic impulses of the country we can also make sure that they understand not just the political class, but the people at large as to how trusted, reliable and good friend India has been for past 4 or 5 decades. Every time Maldives needed small things, medium things, big things, India was there to provide them. India still has nothing but good wishes for the people of Maldives, and we hope that the political establishment will take a sensible decision so that India-Maldives friendship continues strong in future.
Dr. Radhakrishnan, that's actually just taking off from what the ambassador said, the key point that we've had historically an excellent relationship with Maldives. And it's not been a relationship where India sort of imposes anything in our polity on the Maldives, right? We've been respectful of their political process, whereas the Chinese are in on it as part of a larger process, establishing themselves in the Indian Ocean, taking over deep sea ports in Sri Lanka, in Djibouti of the Horn of Africa, sending ships which we understand to be spy ships because they're involved in surveying the ocean floor to enable submarine operations to actually go all the way to Malé. So their goal, as far as the Maldives are concerned, is very different, isn't it?
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity, Vishnu. You said it very right. And good evening, Adib. Good to see you after a very long time on NDTV. And I would go back to what Ambassador Rajiv had written some time ago. And I would say that India has to recalibrate its strategy when it comes to China, and the fact that China is well entrenched in both Maldives and Sri Lanka. I think that is the conversation we need to have. I hope people like Ambassador Rajiv take that conversation forward. Coming to the impeachment itself, as Adib had pointed out, some of the MDP MPs have already been bought, which means that there is no 2/3 majority right now for the vote to go ahead and for the president to be impeached. And I doubt if Mohammed Aslam, the current Speaker of Majlis, would want any of this further disruption and further uncertainty in Maldives itself. Yes, a lot of problems have been caused by President Muizzu with his approach towards India and because of him putting all the eggs into China basket. But the point is that I think India has to embrace this person. I reach out to this person because this is a municipal chairman who suddenly becomes president. I think there is a lot of hand-holding required at that point. I think he got completely taken aback, completely blindsided by the kind of attack from India soon after the Prime Minister tweeted about promoting Lakshadweep. I think it's a very very tragic consequence of events that he happened to be in China at that point. He felt he needed some shoulder to cry on and literally gave a red carpet to China, inviting Chinese investment and whatnot. I think we need to pull back from there, and I'm sure that there are so many sensible souls in the IFS and of course retired IFS who can always bring this back from the brim. And I hope the cowboys in South Block hold their houses a little bit and then allow diplomacy to take over.
Ahmed Adib, why is there such a big difference between the opposition and those loyal to President Muizzu on the role of India? Why the big difference? What is the basic problem with India been? For example, those helicopters which we have over there help to actually help the Maldives government for your own reconnaissance missions. Aircraft are deployed for evacuation of people who fall ill. Why is there this distrust of India in some quarters in the Maldives?
So thank you, RK, once again for having me here to NDTV. Actually, it started with the past election in 2019, where President Yamin, former President Yamin, made the anti-India campaign called India Out, which is a baseless campaign. The latest helicopter and also the Donia was brought in by the agreement with India by President Yamin, where I was also in his government. So which is very needed in Maldives, and we had so many medical evacuations which saved so many lives, and then suddenly everything became political. They made it a political campaign against MDP. It was started by President Yamin and got inherited by Dr. Muizzu. and I think it's just been 60 days into his presidency, and I think now there's a fallout between President Yamin and Dr. Muizzu, and Dr. Muizzu thinks that I think to hold on to this campaign, to keep in the supporters, to get the party members supporting him rather than President Yamin. He thinks, I think he should be the strong man here. But I think it's very sad to see this, and it's very misguided, because the most important thing for Maldives currently is the budget support, because we have a financial crisis. We have so many debts that has to be paid in this number of years, and also Maldives is finding difficult to manage the budget as well. And if we take the past 20-25 years, it has always been India who has given budget supports. And then if you see the last trip to the China where Muizzu visited, we didn't get any budget support. There was only project support. So some projects will be financed by grants, but for that also Chinese companies will be coming to implement those projects. But we need budget support because there's a lot of deficits it's going through. So every month to pay the salaries, to pay the to pay a lot of debts, we need budget support.
Sure.
And at the moment, we have not secured it. So that must be the most important thing that government should be focused on.
Right. Well, thank you all very much for being with us. Fast-moving political developments in the Maldives. The incumbent president, President Muizzu, faces an impeachment proceeding. It does appear at this stage that it's going to be difficult for him, but it's still a 14-day period within which he needs to respond to this impeachment charges, the impeachment process. The opposition has the signatures well against him.